Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnotic coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you want to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free e-newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Well, today I'm playing a bit of a game, and I invite you to play as well. In scholarship, there is a branch of learning called hermeneutics. It deals with the interpretation of texts. So it's important in biblical and archaeological scholarship, high-end literary analysis, and so on. People who do hermeneutics, and by the way, almost all clergy have at least some training in this, use specific and well-established techniques for doing this work. We pay attention to archaeology. We look at ancient maps to figure out how climate and terrain might have influenced a writer. We look at how vocabulary and word meanings evolve. We talk about concepts like Sitz im Leben, which is German. German scholars have a long history of hermeneutics. It means the situation in life, meaning we try to understand what the mind and world view of the person doing the writing was like. And there are many other techniques. Recently, however, there has come to be a popular meme that may very well be added to the long list of techniques scholars use to disclose layers of meaning. This has come to be called describe things badly, or, when referring to occupation, poorly describe what you do. It's fun. For example, as a hypnotist, I talk to people until they pretend to fall asleep. Here are a bunch of others. A tech support professional. All day long I tell people to turn things off and then turn them back on. An obstetrician. I listen to women swear, scream, and cry, and I've seen more vaginas than a porn star. A family physician put it this way. I confirm or deny what Dr. Google has already told you. A pediatrician. After a kid tells me where it hurts, I push on that part while asking if it hurts. Bartender. I put together somewhat different toxic liquids and then serve them to people in order to make them feel funny. Historian. I read lots of stuff about dead people. Accountant. I add and subtract numbers about money, and if asked if there is money to spend, I say no, in order to be ignored and held accountable for the outcome. A florist. I sell prettily arranged dying stems to panicked husbands who forgot their anniversary. And finally, salesperson. I smile at disrespectful people. Well, we laugh at these things because they're funny, but they're funny because they're also ironic. That is, they communicate something unexpected in a humorous way. These things disclose a layer of meaning that would not otherwise be obvious, but which is helpful in increasing understanding. For example, let's take my description of myself as a hypnotist. I talk to people until they pretend to fall asleep. This discloses layers of meanings. I mean, if you ask most people what a hypnotist does, they'll tell you that the hypnotist does something to another person, like there is some hidden invisible energy that I generate with my mind that's going to do something to you. But that's not even remotely true. The hypnotic state is a normal state of human consciousness that most people move in and out of routinely. They just do it spontaneously. A hypnotist is simply showing a client how to control this process and use it in a goal-oriented way. So my bad description of what a hypnotist does captures the fact that a hypnotist isn't actually doing anything to the client. The client is doing it to themselves in response to what the hypnotist says. So I talk to people until they pretend to fall asleep captures that meme. Now, let's take a look at that pretend to fall asleep part. The hypnotic state isn't sleep. Brain imagery shows that it shares some of the qualities of sleep, but is also distinct. So the pretend to fall asleep part captures that the client isn't really asleep and still retains conscious control over themselves. Now, this is true in different ways of all of the humorous descriptions that people come up with. Like the bartender who said, I put together different somewhat toxic liquids and serve them to people in order to make them feel funny. Well, this captures that alcohol is somewhat toxic in that there is a dangerous dose and even a fatal dose if you drink enough of it. And no one drinks alcohol because they want to feel the same way they did before they drank alcohol. They do it because they want to feel different, funny. The ironic description captures all of that. So give it a try. Poorly explain what you do. You'll know you have it right when it makes you chuckle. Then look at what you actually just said and see if it doesn't actually disclose something about your work that you may not have considered. If you do this, congratulations. You've just done a hermeneutical analysis, one of the great skills of scholarship. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my work and my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel. Have a great week.